Alright guys, check this out. There's some points that I didn't mention that I thought were pertinent enough to make a pyrometer probe location part 2 video. First of all, when you're drilling a 1/8 NPT hole, you want at least a high-speed steel drill bit, or else you're going to have a hard time cutting that cast iron to the manifold. The size is 5/16. The 1/8 NPT tap, sometimes you can get them in a set that comes with the bit and the tap, like at Napa. Sometimes they don't have them in stock. Sometimes they discontinue things. If you've got a good sharp bit that's good enough to cut cast iron, this is what should be coming out when you're drilling. If you've got just little bitty chips falling out, your bit is not sharp enough. If it's squealing, your bit is not sharp enough. Also, use a good cutting oil. Well, any kind of oil is better than nothing, but pro oil is kind of universal for me around here. It's like Frank's Red Hot. I put that shit on everything. Another thing, if your pyrometer uses an adapter like this, a 1/8 NPT to whatever male thread they use for their probe, it's important to note that if you don't have your hole cut deep enough here, this will not thread in deep enough. And you can actually use this kind of as like a fine adjustment on the depth of your probe later on. If you don't cut this deep enough, this won't screw in far enough. The probe won't be in far enough. You see what I'm getting at? If you don't cut this deep enough and you try to just run this in, where this should be pretty close to flush on there. You don't have to butt it all the way up. I didn't, but close enough. If you don't cut these threads deep enough for this to go up reasonably easy, if you have to try it like over tighten it, you can either break this off in the manifold or pull the threads out of it, or pull the threads off of this. Anyway, any of those occurrences are obviously a shit occurrence. So what you want to do is, cut it a little deeper, take your tap back out, take your adapter and run it in my hand. Make sure you don't cross thread it. Stainless steel versus cast iron. Cast iron is harder. You probably will just mess up the threads on your adapter, but so that's as far as it goes in by hand right now. I can take a 9/16 wrench and start turning it, but you'll feel that that's about as tight as it should be when it's tight. I've still got quite a ways to go, and I don't want to force it because I don't want to fuck anything up. So what you do is you just take it out and you put your tap back in and you cut your threads a little deeper. It's a tapered thread, so the farther you go in with the tap, the larger the threads will be. So let's see what we can do. Alright, see how much farther I've got on the tap to go? I remember that when I did this on the other one, when I first put that pyrometer on the other motor, I had to go almost all the way in with the tap. And there again, you want to go a little bit with the tap one way and then back it out and then go a little bit. Because if you just try to force it to turn when it's hard, you'll break the tap off in there. The tap is harder than your drill bit or the cast iron. So if you break the tap off in it, you're really fucked. So be patient, work it back and forth, keep a good amount of oil on it, and you'll get it. Just don't force anything, don't get in a hurry. This is not something you've got to do in 5 minutes. It's not something you're going to do in 5 minutes. So take your time, use the oil, pull it out and check it, every once in a while, see how much more you need to go. Don't overdo it, because if you tap it too deep and your thing runs all the way up and it's not tight, you're just going to blow the fucker out and you'll never get it to seal. So you don't want to go too much, you don't want to go too little. Anyway, I just want to share that with you guys because I get this question quite often on Facebook and stuff. So I hope this shows you everything you need to know about putting the pyrometer in, at least on the engine side. And we'll see you again on the next one. Thanks.